is a beautiful morning, and it is indeed a pleasure to welcome you all to Carnival Breakfast Show, coming to you from Carnival Radio. This is newspaper review. I am Joseph Oyokola. Good morning and welcome once again. This morning on newspaper review, I came with different newspapers, and each of the newspapers with different interesting stories. I have Punch with me, I have Vanguard, I have Tribune newspaper, and I have the Daily Post newspaper. But to begin the news this morning, we will first read the headlines. And after the headlines, then we go into news in details. But before I do that, let me use just a moment to send my condolences to all Ibadan indigents, the Ibadan in Council, and to your state governor, Governor Seyi Makinde, as regards the departing of Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Olakuleyin, that joined his ancestors yesterday at the age of 90. We pray that may his gentle soul continue to rest in perfect peace. And of course, I extend my greetings to Olubadan designate of Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. Congratulations, sir. It is indeed a great thing. And I heard the family of the late Olubadan. They said they are not sad. They are just rejoicing because their father lived a fulfilled life. Yeah. So it's not something to to be sad about. You just have to rejoice and be thankful to God that the Olubadan lived an impactful life on health. Right. So on to the news this morning. First, the headlines. From the Punch newspaper, July flood alert. 20 states at risk despite 620 billion naira intervention. Borowori defends multi-billion naira flyover project amid criticism. Displaced Benue residents reject return amid insecurity. NNPC donates 35C energy buses to presidential initiative. Olubadan throne, Ladoja's long resilient march to reality. Now to the news in details. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has issued a flood alert from the month of July, warning that states including Sokoto, Lagos, Edo, Benue, and 16 others are at risk of experiencing flash floods. The scheme, as the African Environmental Health Organization, climate change adaptation researchers, and members of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, among others, lambasted state government following the recent devastating floods that ravaged several states, calling for an intensive scrutiny of the management of ecological funds allocated to affected regions. Findings show that despite receiving over 620 billion naira in ecological funds, the states seem ill prepared to mitigate the impact of such disasters, raising questions about the effectiveness of these funds and enhancing environmental resilience and disaster preparedness. Lament flash flood risk alert for July 2025 released on Monday by the agency showed the state with varying probable risk of experiencing flash flooding events to the onset of rainfall across the state. Further, the agency advised residents of the state to relocate if necessary, clear drainage systems, prepare emergency kits, turn off electricity and gas during flooding, strengthen mudslide prevention, and promote community awareness. This came as residents of some Ondo communities affected by the flood that occurred last week have called on the state government on Monday to come to their aid following the destruction of their property. This news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. July flood alert. 20 states at risk despite 620 billion intervention. Why? Delta State Governor Sharif Oborowori has defended his administration's plan over the ongoing flyover project in Warri and Ifurun. The governor, in a statement by Chief Press Secretary Sir Festus Hahan, was reacting to criticism by former Ethiopia West Local Government Chairman and All Progressives Congress Chieftain Chief Wilson Omene. The APC chieftain had, in a recent interview, described the ongoing flyover project in Warri and Ifuru as ill-informed and misleading. Defending the project, Oborowori said the flyover and road expansion project were strategic interventions aimed at decongesting traffic in Warri and Efuru. Their long-term investment in urban mobility, ease of doing business, and economic growth. Governor argued that the Warri-Efuru corridor served a fast-growing population and played a pivotal role in Delta's economy, stating that only those out of tune with modern urban planning would fall to grasp the significance of the project, responding to Omene's claim that such funds should have been channeled into building industries in Delta Central. The governor labeled the argument as narrow-minded and sectional. This news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. Oborowori defends multi-billion naira flyover project amid criticism. At the meantime, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has handed over 35 hybrid compressed natural gas powered buses to the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas. During a brief ceremony held at the NNPC Towers on Monday, the group CEO of NNPC Limited, Bashiru Ojulari, reiterated the company's commitment to support the federal government's gas aspirations. The GCEO stated that the move was in line with NNPC Limited's effort to drive the adoption of CNG as a cleaner, cheaper, and sustainable fuel alternative. He added that the company has recorded significant progress on gas supply, infrastructure distribution, and retail outlets. Earlier in his address, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Eperipe Ekpo, said CNG buses represent not just vehicles, but serve as instruments of economic relief, social equity, and environmental responsibility. This news was sourced from the Vanguard newspaper. NNPC donates 35 CNG buses to presidential initiative. In another news, survivors of the Yaliwata attack currently taking refuge at a temporary camp located at the international market Makurdi have rejected the call to return home. No fewer than 3,000 displaced persons from Yaliwata community are currently taking refuge at the camp after the gruesome murder of about 200 people in coordinated attacks the community by suspected armed raiders on June 13, 2025. Newsmen who visited the camp on Sunday reliably gathered that the traditional rulers and stakeholders of the community were mounting on their people to return back home as a result of the infiltration of the temporary camp by other displaced persons. The 45-year-old survivor said some of them had to protest against the call by their traditional ruler to return home when they were not sure of adequate security in the community. Speaking in a telephone chat on Sunday, Information Officer of the State Emergency Management Agency, Tema Haga, confirmed that traditional rulers of the Yalowata community with mounting pressure on their people to return home. This news was sourced from the Post newspaper. Displays Benue residents reject return amid insecurity. On to the last news on this paper revealed this morning, Monday, July 7, 2025. Ibadan, Oyo State woke to the passing of the 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land, Bawulabi Olakuleyin. Just 2 days earlier, the nonagarian had celebrated his 98th birthday and was preparing to celebrate his first coronation anniversary on July 12th, with his transition formally announced. The drummers, custodians of Ibadan age-old succession ritual, moved their beat to the home of the next man in line. Obalakuleyin came from the Balogun military line, and the crown now shifted to the Egbeagba civil line. At its summit stands Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja, Otun Olubadan, and by tradition the Olubadan in waiting. From the dust-caked compounds of Ibadan traditional quarters to the gilded chambers of Olubadan in council, while Ladojas worked in part few have dared or have been destined to trend his ascent from Magaji family head to Otun Olubadan, the penultimate step before becoming the Olubadan of Ibadan land. It's not just a personal odyssey, but a testimony to the resilience of Ibadan's centuries-old chieftaincy system, where merit, seniority, and community service counts more than lineage alone. It's odyssey from the remote village bet to the heroes of the revered Olubadan stool. It's an epic of grit, grace, and providence, born on September 25, 1944, in Gambari, a rural village near